All right, everybody, welcome back. There's been a lot of legitimate interest in the logo stuff, and frankly, when I first posted the logo stuff, that's what I was hoping for because I thought I had discovered something so fantastic. I mean, the ability to create your own stickers, not even just having to avoid buying the water slide decals and the cost of the water slide decals, but just the convenience of being able to print exactly what you want with whatever color you like and make it any way you want. And if you bugger it up, you got a whole sheet of them to try again. So, I mean, you've all seen these sheets that I've printed, right? Like, you can just print a whole, you can lay this out any way you like. I've just, really sloppily laid these all over the sheet, but I could have fit a few more in there for sure. And all I've done is I've done this really deliberately easy. So what I wanted to do today was just go over some of the finer details of how to do this, because a lot of people have brought up great points. And part of the point of being able to create these is that there are a lot of people who buy aftermarket necks that come with no logo. So what if you want to put the logo of your guitar on your aftermarket neck? Right? So either we order these water slide decals at a very expensive cost and hope we don't screw them up when we put them on, because I think you've all seen videos of how these are put on. Right? We gotta cut them out, we gotta put it in a little warm bath of water, and then it's really thin, and you gotta try to make sure that you don't F it up, because apparently they tear really easily, which is why you get packages of 2 of these, because they know you're gonna screw one up. I wanted to talk a little bit about what we need to do. So I'm not going to do this to a guitar. I'm going to do this to a block of wood, okay? So for those of you now who want to accuse me of selling StewMacs as fenders, you're welcome to do so, okay? Alright, now the reason I've chosen this block of wood is because it's unfinished. There's no finish on this block. It's completely raw wood, okay? Which is going to, in our case, recreate the idea that you've gotten yourself, let's say, a Warmouth neck or a StewMac neck or some replacement neck that you need to put a logo on. Okay, or maybe your just one is battered up and you've taken all the finish off it. It doesn't really matter, but I want to start with a piece of wood that doesn't have any finish on it. And the reason I wanted to start this way is to show you that you need to have some kind of finish on this. This needs to be sanded down smooth, and then you're going to need to put at least one sealer coat on there. And by sealer coat, I mean just some sort of lacquer. Doesn't really matter, whatever lacquer you're using for the rest of your job, just put one coat on there, sand it down nice and smooth. Alright, so assuming you've prepped your surface and it's nice and smooth. Now this is already pretty smooth, but I'm just taking some of the burrs off. And you can see burrs on the edge of that, so you would just go through your normal sanding regime to take down these burrs, and all I'm using is a bit of 800. Now I'm not going to put any clear coat out on here, I'm just showing you this, because you'd want to get rid of that. Okay? You want that to go away. You want your surface to be perfectly smooth and flat. Now I've got a bit of pen here, but I don't really care about that. So this is the other thing, and this is why I'm making this video. I wanted to kind of pull out all these little details that people keep asking me about. People keep asking me, what's in the yellow can? This is just stain. So whatever kind of stain you like, just put a little bit of stain on the raw wood first. So sand it down, get a bit of your stain on it. So that's what I'm going to do now. This stuff dries really quickly, doesn't take long at all. You can just put it on with a rag. Whatever you got, it doesn't really matter. I'm just using Minwax. Now, if you had like a poly stain blend, then this would be the only step you're doing. You'd just wipe a bit of this on, let it dry, sand it down, and away you go. But since I'm both staining and then clearing as a separate step, that's all this is. This is just stain. That's all you've seen me do. Okay. So, like I said, just grab any kind of rag. I usually like a cotton rag, like these microfiber cloths are great, and just ball it up a little bit. Anyway, so I would just put on whatever color of stain I want. Okay, and I'm not going to do the whole thing. We're just going to, well, maybe I will. Just do the top here. Okay, so we've got our color there. Okay, we've gotten rid of the anemic white. So let's just assume that this is your headstock, and we're done now, okay? This dries super fast. This is, you just come back and wipe away the excess, and that's done, okay? That doesn't take any time at all. Now, what you want to do is, this is the other thing people give me a hard time about. I have no idea why, because it's what you're supposed to use. The Zippo fluid. This is naphtha. Naphtha is naphtha is naphtha, okay? It's lighter fluid. Lighter fluid is great to clean finishes and stuff like that. It dries nearly instantly, and it pulls away all the crud. So let's just assume that this is done. It's cleaned now. We've cleaned it off with a bit of naphtha. Like I said, that dries almost instantly. So I don't want to touch this with my hands anymore. I want to make sure that this surface is free of grease from your fingerprints and like. So as a next step here, you would take like a tack cloth. You can buy them at the hardware store or any automotive department, and then you're just going to wipe it with a tack cloth to get rid of any fibers from your other cloth. Like any kind of cloth like this you would use is going to leave behind little fibers and then when you put your clear coat over, that's where you can see those look like little hairs. So you want to go with a tack cloth after you've cleaned it with the Roncinol. Give it another wipe. I got tack cloths in the garage, so I'll give that a quick wipe, and then we'll get a clear coat on it. Now, I don't need to drag you out all into the garage to watch me do a clear coat. It's effing cold out there, and I just want to do it quick. So what am I using for clear coat? Just this, right here. Duplicolor Automotive. It's got to be the automotive stuff. I've used all kinds of other spray bomb stuff, and this by far I've had the best results with. I'll show you the neck that I've been working on, the logo that I've been working on. It looks superb. If you want a really nice, glossy, clear finish that doesn't need a lot of sanding or work afterward, this stuff's fan-bloody-tastic. I love it. I don't care what you luthiers say or you guitar builders about poly versus nitro. I don't give a fuck. All right, we're back. So I've just put a light coat of clear coat on this. Now you can use whatever you want, clear coat, sealer, doesn't matter. I'm no expert finisher, and that's not the point of this video. The point is you need something. It can't be bare wood, okay? So however you choose to finish it, put a sealer coat or put a little bit of lacquer, which is fine. And then once you get back with it, what you want to do is use some sort of sanding block and just a light grit sandpaper and just smooth out all the rough edges, because this should already be pretty smooth. You just want to get rid of all the shine. So I'm just going to go over it. Alright, that's good enough. That's good enough for what we're doing here. So you want to go ahead and cut your sticker out pretty close around, as close to the letter as possible. Like if you can go right up against the letter itself, if you can cut it out like that, that's ideal. The less of this white paper we can have remaining, the better. It's ideal to get rid of as much of the remaining anything that's not logo. Now obviously you're not going to be able to do it around all these small little letters, so I got to figure out a way to deal with that somehow. And what I figured out is this neat little trick, and I'm going to intentionally leave a lot of this. I'm going to intentionally cut this big right now just to show you how I'm dealing with this. Now I want to repeat, you don't want to leave this much edge around you want to cut this as close as possible without ruining your actual logo. But for the purpose of this example, for whatever you have remaining, you're probably going to have some remaining inside the letters, some inside the big S in this case, and just in some of the little pockets you're going to have remaining space that you need to clean up. So I'm just making this purposely big so that you can see what I'm doing, how I'm dealing with that. Now the nice thing about this paper is that it's cut on the back. It's cut all over the back, so it's great. You can just take one of the, it's like a Band-Aid. So you just line it up wherever you're going to line it up. Okay, and I'm not going to be overly careful with this. I'm just going to slap it on there. Okay, so we can see there that I can totally see that sticker to begin with. So to begin with, I just want to take my finger and pretty much just press down everywhere. I don't want to rub my finger too much back and forth over it, because if you rub too hard, you'll take away some of the actual logo. So try and get it pressed in there pretty good. You can even run a cloth over top of it. It's pretty resilient. Like it's not going to rub off so easy. Okay, so we can still see that sticker, and that I thought would go away once I cleared over it, but it doesn't really go away. You end up seeing some of that silhouette still. So the really easy thing I worked out, which ended up being so genius, and it never occurred to me because this paper is coated so that you can actually get the toner on it. There's actually a coating on this. This is actually just clear paper behind there. They've put some sort of coating on it so that the toner will stick to it. So what I keep around for all sorts of stuff is just some water with a little bit of soap. Soap mixed in. And I just go ahead and give a little spritz to that. I don't want it to be soaking or anything like that. I just want it to be a little bit moist. And then you're going to watch this stuff disappear. It's like magic. It just completely goes away. See? As soon as I start to rub it, it just disappears. And what you're doing is you're wiping away basically that remaining coating. But it just totally disappears. Do you see how that just starts to disappear? Now watch. So just carefully go in there. And I'm doing this while I'm watching it on camera, so this is a bit hard. I'm not doing a super careful job. But you can see it just starts completely disappear. And then when you clear over it, it looks fantastic. And that ends up being the trick with this stuff. This is why I had so much trouble with all the other headstocks, and that's why I can see the one on the white one. But you can see if I wipe too hard, I start to wipe away a bit of that toner. So that's where you got to be careful. So I printed another one that's a bit more just solid, just to show you what happens. So again, same thing. I'm just going to leave this intentionally big. And we're going to just slap it on there. And even if it's not cut in the back, it's really easy to get apart. This stuff is like, it's really easy to work with. It's great. So I just peel back a little bit of it. Oh, so peel about half of it off there, something like that. Now I've peeled the wrong half off, but let's just assume that's where I want it. So I just press it down. Okay, so in this case, I'm not going to go to all the trouble with the little Q-tip, because I'm not trying to be as careful with this. So in this case, all I'm going to do is it was my final step on the other one, and this will achieve exactly the same thing. But the nice thing about it is because that toner is really thick, it's not going to all rub off. So I still want to be really gentle, but same thing happens. It all goes away. And it looks, once you've clear coated it, looks totally factory legit. I mean, and that was the point of those videos. So let me just turn the camera around. I know I look probably crazy as hell today. Rather than you just sort of staring at my face here, you can see here that that's worked out pretty damn well. And I could probably leave it like that. If I didn't want to clear coat that, because I have seen some guitars where you can totally see the stickers just laid over top of the clear coat and they haven't done anything to it. But I would clear coat over top of that. And in fact, I'm going to just pause the video right now and go and grab the one that I've been working on. Alright, so that's the one I've been working on. I don't know how easy that is to see, but you can see there that I didn't wipe away that stuff. And I only figured it out after I clear coated this one. So this was the last one that I really tried, and it was really bugging me. This one is pretty good. Like, it's hard to see. Like, I'm holding it up really close to you, and you can see it under some light, and in other lights it looks nearly perfect. And I reckon the last step, like this Stratocaster bit, turned out fantastically. Like in almost every light I can't see that it's a sticker. But this here I can. This lets me down right there. That there lets me down, because you can see where I've cut it. And what that is a stain that I rubbed over top of it. It's stuck to that material. But you can see here, okay, now I'm holding it up with a light shining on it, but you can see here all that white disappears. Right? It just completely disappears. Now it's my lighting in here that's fucking terrible, I'm sorry. But you can see there the light shining off that clear bit. Right? But under some light, like once you got that cleared over, you're not going to be able to see that at all. I just wanted to add one final thing to this video that I'm working on. I think is kind of cool, and maybe if anybody has any ideas about how I could do this any better, because I don't have the steadiest hand for like little fine detail work. Anyway, let's show you. Alright, so what I'm working on here, you can see, is I've taken another one of those clear stickers. I've laid down a base of just painter's tape, and this paper at the end is just to make it easy for me to pull up. And then I've put the clear sticker over top of the painter's tape. Now, essentially, I'm trying to create a stencil. If you look at my one up real close, I've only cut out the S, and that took ages. Alright, so this is the sort of knife I'm using. Obviously I wasn't using this blade. This blade's dirty from something else. But essentially I've gone around here very carefully, as carefully as I could, and tried to cut these letters out, because eventually what I want to be able to do is rip this off. And you can see the reason I focused in on that so closely is you can see it's not the cleanest cut, especially like right there and right there. So I'd like a cleaner way to do this. Maybe I'm using the wrong kind of knife. Like, I've tried a couple of different blades, and these are very sharp. These are good blades. It's just maybe I don't have a very steady hand. But ideally what I'd like to do is I'd like to create a stencil that I could then affix to a guitar headstock and do whatever color I like a nice gold sparkle or something, you know, something cool. So if anybody has any ideas, any better ideas how I could create a more crisp stencil, I would love to see some of that stuff in the comments section of this video. Cheers. Sorry for the long video, everyone. Back soon. Alright, so the video should have been ending now. Well, this next segment here, if we can call it that, is really just the fact that I was watching back the video and I realized that I've left a lot of unanswered questions. So let me see, without dragging out this video too much, if I can answer some of the stuff that I feel like I've left out. Okay, so I just went, like just 5 minutes ago, and sprayed a clear coat on that, just to illustrate that once you get clear coat over it, like even the moment you get clear over it, that sticker almost completely disappears. You have to look at it really, really hard to see that it's there. Like, it doesn't look like it's there. And you can see there, I did rub away a bit of the sticker. So you have to be careful. Okay, so when you're rubbing that bit away, I went pretty hard. I was trying to do this quickly. I should also stress, I've been trying to do this entire thing quickly. So I've intentionally left out a lot of finishing details, things like grain filling your wood and all that sort of fun stuff. So for those of you who know a bit more about that stuff, I kind of assume that you know it. And if you don't know about that stuff, that's not what this video is about. This video is about how to deal with these stickers. So I wanted to give a bit of detail about what sort of surface you needed to deal with. Anyway, when I'm scraping back one of these headstocks, it's already got a pile of clear on it. I'm not taking all the clear off it, so I don't have to go through all that effort to do what I did to bare wood. I'm assuming for the sake of this demonstration that you know how to get yourself to finishing your bare wood. If you're dealing with bare wood, I assume you have some idea of how to get there. And I've given you enough detail here to get you close. And if you do a bit more investigation on your own or watch a few more videos, the real idea behind this was that you got to be working with, a surface that's got something on it. And then it completely disappears. It looks like it's part of the wood. So it turns out fantastic. And that, like, I just sprayed lacquer on that 2 seconds ago. Alright, I'm 3 minutes into the video, so 3 and a few minutes ago. And it just turns out superbly. So the keys here, obviously, when you're wiping it down, are to be careful that you don't rub away your sticker. But of course, the nice thing is, if you do make a mistake like that, that's pretty easy to correct with a bit of, I don't know. If you don't want to reapply the sticker, you could try a bit of Sharpie or something like that. There's clever DIY ways to get around that sort of stuff. Or you could just rip that off and try again, because you got a whole sheet of them in your little cabinet over there somewhere. Because you got a whole pile of them. So you could just try again. But for the quick and dirty way that I did this today, you have to concede that has come out pretty damn fantastic. It's invisible.